Right, of course. First when at least the singing.
Yeah.
And then as you go along, we always have to remind about the meaning, don't
Yeah, the meaning. Otherwise we're just like monkeys singing Shakespeare or something.
Yeah, put the last thing here. You are right, by the way.
Nama Shreshtam Manumapi Sachiputra Matra Swarupam Rupam Tasikrajam Urupurim Maturim Gostavatim Radhakundam Giri Varam Maho Radhika Madhavasam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajikachari Varyasto Tarasata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Sunda Govinda Dev Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. So we are, it was a chunky garland. We're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. We are gradually restarting a reading cycle because Antilila was finished. Can you leave that door open, please? Just leave the door open, thanks. Antilila was finished, and so we're restarting at Adi Lila chapter 1. We, over the past couple of days, we discussed the context of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's coming to write Chaitanya Charitamrita. And now we have begun to read the initial verses of this great piece of literature. The famous verses. Yesterday, we read verse 1, Vande Gurum Ishabhaktan Isham Ishavatarakan Tat Prakasham Chatat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam. I offer my obeisances unto the spiritual masters, the devotees of the Lord's incarnations, His plenary portions, His energies, and the primeval Lord Himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So there's 6 items that have been listed here. When you pass this verse, you see that there's 6 items. First, there's the spiritual masters, plural. Then there is the devotees. Then there is the Lord's avatars, and then Prakash and Shakti, and then the Lord Himself. So the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and His descent is seen in 6, you could say, divisions. So there's the Lord Himself has been described as the primeval Lord, which means the original Lord. He appears with His devotees, with His avatars, with His Shakti, with His Prakash, more direct manifestations, and with His other devotees that act as, say, spiritual masters. 6 categories. Text 2. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahodito Godo Dayo Pushpavanto Chitro Sando Tamo Nudo. I have my respectful obeisance unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance, and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. And then, text number 3. Yad advaitam brahmo panishadi tad apyasya tanubha yat amantaryami purusha ituso syamsa vibhavaha sad aishvaryai purno ya iha bhagavan sa svayam aham na chaitanyat krishnas jagati paratatvam param iha. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord known as the Supersoul is but his localized plenary portion. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. So the Tattva, after offering his respects to Mahaprabhu and everything connected to Mahaprabhu, of course, we know that the very beginning, the absolute beginning of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita starts with Vande Gurun. Vande Gurun means I offer my respects to my Guru. I bow down to my Guru. I pay obeisances to my spiritual master. So that's the very beginning of this 11,000 verse tome, this epic literature that describes the tattva and the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. And you'll notice that any spiritual work always essentially begins with an offering of respect and the requesting of grace or blessings from one's Guru. So Vande Gurun, and then Isha Bhaktan, devotees, Ishavatarakan, the avatars, Tat Prakasham, the expansions, Tat Shakti, the energies, and the Supreme Lord himself, Krishna Chaitanya. So they're all connected. In that sense, in other places it's described as that these are in their essence one, but in form they may take different forms. Just as the Guru is one in spirit, but appears in different forms at various times to guide the aspirants. So it's the same thing. Spiritual masters, the devotees, Lord's incarnations, in essence they are one. We're not advocating Mayavad philosophy, but we're saying in spirit, in essence, they are one. The purpose is the same. But categorization is made. However, when the Lord appears, all of these appear. Devotees acting as spiritual masters. Devotees which are acting as exemplar devotees, like acharyas. Other devotees, Lord's incarnations, expansions, Shaktis. We will see later, verse coming up later, Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Vataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam, which comes up somewhere up here. Well, we will get to it. Yeah, there we go, text 14. It's very similar, it describes the devotees, describes the Lord's energy, and avatar, and expansion. And we see how these categorizations apply directly to the Panchatattva. So we'll get to this verse today, text 14, because it's connected somewhat to text number 1. So then we read text 4. Anarpita charim chirat karunaya vartina kalo samarpaitum unatoj rasam svabhakti shriyam hari purata sundara jyoti kadamba sandipitaha sada hridaya kandare spurato vasachinandanaha. That is the famous verse by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Vidagdha Madhava. May that Lord who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. He has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, and that is the sublime and radiant spiritual knowledge of the mellow taste of his own service. So the Lord appearing to give his own, to distribute the treasure of devotional service. So that's what the Lord is doing. And then Kaviraj Goswami quotes a verse to explain who the Lord is. So this is what he is doing. And it's also a prayer, may he be situated in the core of our hearts. But he has appeared in the age of Kali to spread and distribute devotional service, Bhakti Seva. So that's his function, external function. Now, text 5 is a verse by Swarup Damodar Goswami, which is inscribed on Gurudev's Samadhi Mandir, Temple of Love and Affection, which describes what Mahaprabhu does. Mahaprabhu's identity, who Mahaprabhu is. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Hladini Shakti Razmad Ekatmanav Apibhuvi Pura Deha Bedam Gatoto Chaitanya Kyam Prakatam Adhuna Tadvayam Chaikyam Aptam Radha Bhava Duti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. The loving affairs of Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. It's known as Hladini Shakti. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. So in this one verse, all the deepest and most fundamental conception of Mahaprabhu's identity is described. The very beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So text 4, describes Mahaprabhu's activities, external activities. Text 5 describes Mahaprabhu's identity, which is essentially that of Radha Bhava Duti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. Krishna with the mood and the radiance of Srimati Radharani. Radha Krishna combined. And then we have text 6, which is also by Swarup Damodar Goswami. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva Svadyo Yena Bhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Vamadhya Sokyam Chasyamad Anubhavataha Kidrisham Vetilobhat Tad Bhavadya Samajjani Sachigarba Sindo Harindu. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him which she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appears from the womb of Srimati Sachi Devi as the moon appears from the ocean. Indu, Harindu. So all of these verses, these texts 4, 5, and 6, they have been commented on fairly extensively in the books of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. You will find references that these verses have been quoted and elaborated upon in various places in the books of Gurudev and Param Gurudev. So verse 4 describes Mahaprabhu's external, part of it describes Mahaprabhu's external reason to spread and distribute his own devotional, the nectar of his own devotional service. Text 5 describes essentially the core of who Mahaprabhu is, Radha Krishna combined. And text 6 describes Mahaprabhu's inner reason, which is subcategorized as threefold: to taste Radharani's love, to taste the beauty she sees in him, and to experience the happiness she feels in relationship with him. So we have the external reason, Mahaprabhu's identity, and then the internal reason given. by Rupa Goswami and Swarup Damodar Goswami. Text number 7. Sankarshana karana toya sai garbhoda sai cha payobdi sai sheshashchaya samsa kala sanitya nandakya rama sharanam namastu. Mamastu. May Sri Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshan, Seshanag and Vishnus, and the Vishnus who lie on the Karana ocean, Garbha ocean, the ocean of milk, are his plenary portions and the portions of his plenary portions. So we have some verses here after Mahaprabhu has been after Mahaprabhu's identity and function, Leela, has been explained. Now Kaviraj Goswami begins to elaborate upon the identity of the Tattva of Nityananda Prabhu. And we will see here in these next few verses that the ontology, the position of Nityananda Prabhu in the hierarchy of personages that expand out from Krishna, or the ontology of Nityananda Prabhu's various manifestations is described in these coming verses. And we will see how Srila Param Gurudev in his Nityananda Divadarsakam, which are 12 verses glorifying Nityananda Prabhu, he has also presented this based on these verses that we're about to read. May Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshan, Seshnag, and the Vishnus who lie on the Karana ocean, Garbha ocean, and the ocean of milk are his plenary portions and the portions of his plenary portions. Mayatite vyapi vaikunta loke purnaishvarye Sri Chaturvyuha madye Rupam yasyo bhati sankarshanakyam tam Sri Nityananda Ramam prapadye. I surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, who is known as Sankarshan in the midst of the Chaturvyuha, consisting of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradumna, and Aniruddha. He possesses full opulences and resides in Vaikuntha Lok, far beyond the material creation. Maya Bhatarjanda Sangashrayanga Sete Shakshat Karanam Bodhi Madhye Yasyai Kamsa Sri Puman Adidevas Tam Sri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose partial representation, called Karanadakshay Vishnu, lying on the Karana ocean, is the original Purusha, the master of the illusory energy and the shelter of all the universes. Yasyam samsa shrilagarbodhasai yam nabyabjam loka sangatanalam loka shrastu sutikadama datus tam Sri Nityananda Ramam prapadye. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, a partial part of whom is Garbhodakshay Vishnu. From the navel of Garbhodakshay Vishnu sprouts the lotus that is the birthplace of Brahma, the engineer of the universe. The stem of that lotus is the resting place of the multitude of planets. Yasyam samsaha paratma kilanam poshta vishnur bhati dugdabdisai kshoni bharta yat kala sopyanantas tam Sri Nityananda Ramam prapadye. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose secondary part is the Vishnu lying in the ocean of milk. that Kiridakshai Vishnu is the super soul of all living beings and the maintainer of all the universes. Seshanag is his further subpart. Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Sri Jatyada Tasyavatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishwaraha. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. So these previous verses describing Nityananda Prabhu describe his various features. And this is gone into actually in a little more detail in Param Gurudev in his Nityananda Dwadasakam. But it's based on this, how from Nityananda Prabhu first comes Balaram, and then Sankarshan, but there's Sankarshan of Dwaka, Vaikunta, and then there is the Chaturvyuha, Sankarshan, Pradumna, Aniruddha, Vasudev. And then there is the Tri Vishnu, so Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, and Kiridakshai Vishnu. Kiridakshai Vishnu is seen as the what's known as Paramatma, Super Soul. Garbhadakshay Vishnu is the universal soul inside each world, and Karanadakshay Vishnu is known as Mahavishnu, who is the supreme soul of the cosmos. So these are seen as expansion features of Nityananda Prabhu, and then below that is Seshanag. And so these are given, this basic ontology is given here by Kaviraj Goswami. And it's given in a somewhat more, could say, sequential and detailed form, a little more sequential and detailed in Param Gurudev's Nityananda Dwadasakam.
Where is that?
It's in the Nectarian Glories of Nityananda Prabhu. It's at the front of that. It's probably just up there. I was actually meaning to bring it so we could quote it now, but I forgot to bring it. Is it up there or is it somewhere else?
I can bring it from there.
It will be probably just in... So we'll come back to that. And then after covering Nityananda Prabhu, Kaviraj Goswami begins to describe Advaita Acharya. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. So Advaita Acharya is the avatar, Nityananda Prabhu is the Prakash. Nityananda is seen as the Prakash. Advaita Acharya is the avatar. Described in these 6. Vande Gurum Isha Bhaktan Isham Ishavatarakam Tat Prakasham Chatat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam. Yeah, thank you. So we have here the Nectarian Glories of Nityananda Prabhu. And if we go to the beginning, page 1, we'll see Nityananda, Sriman Nityananda Dwadasakam. And from verse 1, Guru Maharaj, Param Gurudev, describes the ontology connected with Nityananda Prabhu. So verse 1, we will see how, says, we'll just read the English translations. O my heart, please eternally serve the lotus feet of that beautiful Sri Nityananda Chandra who gives us Gaura Krishna. It is he, Nityananda Prabhu, who in the form of Anantadev perpetually performs Harinam Kirtan with infinite mouths. He perpetually holds on his head the earth planet like an insignificant speck of dust, and he performs the divine service of his all-in-all, Krishna. As Seshadev Ananta, taking the form of the Lord's paraphernalia, he performs the divine service of his all-in-all, Krishna, as Sesha Anantadev, taking the forms of the Lord's paraphernalia, such as umbrella, bed, seat, and clothing. So that's the first ontological, you could say that the base ontological representation of Nityananda Prabhu is Anantasesh, which is given here in by Kaviraj Goswami. He says Seshanag is his further subpart. Seshan, where is it here? Anantaha. Kshoni Bharata Yat Kala Sopyanantas Tam Sri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. And then in verse number 2, we have, O my heart, you please eternally serve Sri Nityananda Chandra, who gives us Gaura Krishna. He maintains the entire universe in his expansion of Kiradakshai Vishnu. So we have the second category, or the second ontological representation of Nityananda Prabhu. Kiradakshai Vishnu residing in the hearts of all living beings. That is the Supersoul. His glories are sung by the Vedic hymns as Garbhadakshay Vishnu of thousands and thousands of heads. Garbha means a womb, right, as it says here. Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha. Within his womb, Garbha, unlimited universes are situated. He is the master of the Lord of material nature, Karanadakshay Vishnu, in whose womb unlimited universes are situated and by whom the entire multitude of jiva souls are sheltered. So that's the second expression of Nityananda Prabhu's identity. First Anantashesh, and then the three Vishnus. And then we have text number 3, or verse 3. O my heart, please eternally render divine service to that gracious giver of Gaura Krishna, Sri Nityananda Chandra. In the great transcendental kingdom, Paravyoma Vaikuntha, he expands into the form of Sankarshan, the first quadruple expansion, in which form he ever expands the ecstasy of the divine pastimes of Sri Hari, the conscious plane of pure existence, Shuddha Sattva. Within the jivas he presides as the ego, and sometimes he shows his divine pastimes, just like an ordinary jiva. So this is the Sankarshan of Vaikuntha. So now we have 3 ontological categories: Seshnag, the Vishnus, and Sankarshan. And then verse 4, O heart, please constantly serve the dust of the lotus feet of the gracious bestower of Gaura Krishna, Sri Nityananda Chandra. It is he who presides in all his glory in Dwarka with his transcendental associates as the original all-attractive personality, Mula Sankarshan. Above that plain in Mathura, he enjoys his pastimes in the form known as Prabhav Vilas, and in Brajapuri he is known as Balaram, the ultimate source of all the incarnations, as he sportively plays with his younger brother, his all-in-all Krishna. So we can see how the various ontological manifestations or hierarchical manifestations of Nityananda Prabhu's identity are given here in the first 4 verses of Nityananda Dwadasakam by Srila Param Gurudev, based on these initial verses in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Kaviraj Goswami. So in terms of, in descending order, it's Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Balaram, the Prabhav Vilas of Mathura, Balaram of Vrindavan, Prabhav Vilas of Mathura, the Mula Sankarshan of Dwarka, and the Sankarshan of Vaikuntha, then the Sri Vishnu, and then Seshnag. So there's various ontological manifestations of Nityananda Prabhu.
Yeah? Somebody was asking me the other day when we will install Nityananda Prabhu in the altar because Mahaprabhu is alone.
You need to show them Sri Saraswat Arti.
Right.
You say, understand this Arti and you'll see what's going on up there.
But maybe you can explain it so that they can understand it better, why it's,
Yes. Well, I mean, the deities on the altar are not placed haphazardly. They're there because they're there very intentionally, and that particular configuration comes from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. You could say the inspiration for it comes from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and then it was manifest in that configuration by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So that's why when we sing Sri Saraswat Arti, that's why it's called Sri Saraswat Arti, because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that Arti describes Radha Krishna and Mahaprabhu on the same altar. The entire Arti is about the meaning of Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna. And what is the arrangement? What is the third verse? Radha Bhava Ekatanu. Sorry, say it louder. No, that's 4. What's verse 3? Ekatanu. Radha Shama Ekatanu. Dakshe Gauraya. Bame Radha Madhye Swayam Shama Gopajaya. So that verse will tell you the configuration, which is I'm trying to remember it again. Not sharp enough this morning. Are you going to pull it up in the songbook? And then we can talk about it.
Let me show it to you here.
Okay, great, yeah.
There you go.
That's it. Yeah. So if we look at the third verse, then it's Radha Shama Ekatanu Dakshe Gauraraya Bame Radha Madhye Swayam Shama Gopajaya. So Radha Shama Ekatanu means Radha Krishna, one body. Radha Shama Ekatanu occupying one form, and that is Dakshe Gauraraya, that is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauraraya. The glorious form of Raya means like glorious, kingly, Gauraraya. Bame, on the left, is Radha. Bame Radha. Madhye, in the middle, is Svayam Sham Gopa, the original blackish cowherd. Bame Radha Madhye Swayam. So that's the general configuration. On the left is on the left is Srimati Radharani, and in the middle is Shama Gopajaya, so Krishna, and on the right hand side is Mahaprabhu. We don't quite get to see it configured here on our altar because we have the Gunjamala. But if you look at it, you have Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna configured that way. And how did that come about? If you look at the preceding verses, you see Prakashile Gauraseva, Prakash was manifested, the service of Mahaprabhu was manifested auspiciously all around the world, Bhuvana Mangala, by who? Bhakti Siddhanta. With his divine, glorious divine intelligence, Shuddha Pragyan Ujjvala. But then, on whose inspiration? Bhakti Vinod Karuna Murati, the merciful form of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And what is it about? So that's the original, you could say the original inspiration is Bhakti Vinod, and then it was Prakashile Gaura Seva, manifested by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And the arrangement, the general tattva is Radha Sham, Ekatanu is Mahaprabhu combined, and then Bhame Radha on the left, and in the middle is Krishna. And what is it? Braja Rasa Navad Bhave Navadvipe Raja. It's the rasa of Vrindavan that's come to Navadvip. And it's the high Madhura Raga of love. So without going through an interpretation of the whole song, how does it relate to the question of why is Nityananda Prabhu not on the altar? Because if you'll notice, the whole song is it's a Raga Bhakti Madhura Ras song. It is actually a very, if you look at if you understand the language of the song, not just the language, but the meaning and the inner essence, the inner meaning, you'll see that it's actually saturated with Raga Bhakti and Madhura Ras. Look at how many times Rasa and Radha and Raga are mentioned in the song. It's full of Radha and Rasa and Raga. So Radharani and Krishna combined are Mahaprabhu. So that is the essential meaning, the essence of the song. And if we want to see how it was expressed in Chaitanya Leela, we can correlate it to the Ramananda Samvad, where at the end of their ever more increasingly esoteric conversation, Mahaprabhu says, all right, stop. At first he's saying to Ramananda Rai, Eho baya age kaha ara. Like, that's shallow, go further. So Ramananda is going deeper and deeper into Rasa Tattva, and finally ending in the intense love of Srimati Radharani for Krishna, the supremacy of Radhadasyam. And then Mahaprabhu goes, all right, stop there, and covers his mouth. And at that time, it elicits this revelation of Mahaprabhu, where he shows himself as Radha Krishna combined to Ramananda Rai. And this revelation is expressed on the altar. This is the conception. This is the understanding that is being worshipped, represented on the altar of the Gaudiya Mutt and the mutts that are come from, inspired by the teachings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. It is that Radha Krishna combined. So we say Radha Sham Ekatanu. And then we have again those that preaching the Sri Swarupa Ramananda Rupa Sanatan a little later. But the revelation of Mahaprabhu to Ramananda Rai, the culmination, the very zenith, climax of the Ramananda Samvad, that spiritual revelation is what is expressed on the altar of Siddhanta Saraswati. Now, why is Nityananda Prabhu not there? Because, essentially, Nityananda Prabhu's relationship is one of Shakya Rasa. And this, back to the point, is saturated with Madhura Rasa. It's a raga bhakti song, but it's given to us. It's not when I say raga bhakti, raga bhakti is the treasure of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. It's been exploited by others and misrepresented in a sahaja type way. But this is given to us by Param Gurudev. as the actual worship of what's going on the altar, as the essence of the meaning of who we worship and how and why. So Nityananda Prabhu is worshipped with Mahaprabhu, but not on the same altar as Radha Krishna. So Nityananda Prabhu's rasa, being Shakya ras, is not mutually compatible with the Madhura ras being expressed, for instance, in the revelation of Mahaprabhu to Ramananda Rai, or in Mahaprabhu's tasting the sentiments of Srimati Radharani. That is why when Mahaprabhu is entering into his Antya Leela and he's feeling the Vipralamba Bhav of Srimati Radharani, he sends Nityananda Prabhu to Bengal and tells him, don't come to Puri again, don't come visiting to Puri again. Because the mood of Nityananda Prabhu, although he delivers people to the highest stage of devotional service and appreciation of Mahaprabhu, his mood is one of Shakya rasa. It's not one of Madhura rasa. That's why we don't get Nityananda Prabhu in the Gambhir with Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar. He's not there when Gadadhar Pandit is reading the giving Mahaprabhu the, what is Guru Maharaj described as like the intoxicating wine of Bhagavat Katha to soothe his feelings of separation. So, these are esoteric points, and it's, people may not really understand it, but it's important to understand it if you want to know the answer to why is Nityananda Prabhu not sitting on the altar with Radha, Shyam, Sundar and Mahaprabhu.
In some altars, though, they have Gaunitai, but that's a different worship in a different modality.
Yeah.
Like a chakra, for example.
Yeah, but they don't have Radha Krishna on the same altar.
That's what I mean.
Mm.
So this Gaunitai,
yeah.
Some devotees have Gaunitai.
Yeah. But it's a different rasa tattva, which means it's a different category of rasa. So for Gaur Nitai, Gurudev composed a song called the Nitai Chaitanya Arti. Mm-hmm. So in Jagannath Puri, although the highest pastimes went on in Jagannath Puri, Gurudev established Nitai Chaitanya Dev there. So it's not at all saying this is not to minimize Nityananda Prabhu, of course not, everybody knows that, but it's just to understand the differences in Rasa Tattva. Otherwise, everything just becomes a kind of doll worship hodgepodge. We don't really know what we're doing. Let's put Nityananda Prabhu up there. Let's put Balaram up there. And soon we'll have like Durga, and who else should we put up there? So we have to understand the ontology and how rasa is categorized, and how various categories of rasa are mutually exclusive. You can't just mix them all together. Otherwise, that's rasa basa. And it doesn't, at best it doesn't work, at worst it's kind of offensive. That's why Mahaprabhu would get very upset if compositions, rasa-based compositions, that contained incompatible themes were presented to him. And that is why Swarup Damodar Goswami was his secretary to read all of these compositions before they reached Mahaprabhu, so they wouldn't disturb him. It's difficult for us to appreciate, but I was thinking about it one day, and I was thinking we can appreciate it through certain ways, and this is a bit of a heavy example, but for instance, if someone tries to make a romantic love story between a father and a daughter, it's kind of disgusting. And because one is Vatsalya ras and one is Madhura ras, So when you try and mix the two, it's disgusting. So different rasas should not be mixed. And the higher devotees, they understand this. Someone else might come along, let's put Nityananda Prabhu up there. Why don't we make a love story between a daddy and a daughter? It's like, come on, man. It's like, they don't understand what's going on. So with the development of adhikar, people begin to see categories of rasa and how they apply and how they are mutually exclusive and everything, all of the details and the nuances that come with the appreciation of rasa. It happens when, ultimately when a person begins to appreciate it and live it and serve it, then the nature of that rasa is revealed to the person. But that's the basic theory of it. And we can see how in this song describing our deity configuration and the rasa tattva underpinning it, there is no mention of Nityananda Prabhu. And again, not to minimize Nityananda Prabhu, no one's doing that. We're saying that in the Madhura Ras, Nityananda Prabhu doesn't feature there. As Lord Balaram, he doesn't feature in Krishna's Madhura Ras. He doesn't feature in Krishna's Rasa dance or Krishna's pastimes with the gopis. He may have his own rasa dance, which is an exception, and Guru Maharaj talks about that as his kind of service to Krishna. But that is separate from Krishna's Madhura Ras. So we see when Guru Maharaj is describing the Nityananda Tattva, it's based on these verses, and it culminates as the pinnacle of it as Balaram and Vrindavan, but then that is the equivalent of Mahaprabhu to Krishna. Nityananda Prabhu to Balaram is what Mahaprabhu is to Krishna. So we could say the same, but in the mood of distribution. So just as Lord Balaram facilitates all of the pastimes of Krishna in various categories, in all of these various ontological levels, from Balaram to Prabhav Vilas, to Mula Sankarshan, to Sankarshan of Vaikuntha, to the three Vishnus, and then to Anantashesh. So in Chaitanya Lila, Lord Nityananda is facilitating the entire revelation of Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes. But just as in Vrindavan, Lord Balarama is in Shakya Ras with Krishna. Shakya means friendship, so the closest friendship is brotherhood. So being Krishna's brother. Then also they have the brotherly relationship, Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu. And just as Balaram facilitates all of the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan, so Nityananda Prabhu facilitates Mahaprabhu's pastimes and gives entry to Mahaprabhu's service, gives entry to Mahaprabhu's you could say service or entry into his Leela. You don't want to sound too sahaja-ish, but it's true. The mercy of Mahaprabhu, we could say mercy of Mahaprabhu is obtained via the agency and mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. So although Nityananda Prabhu may not feature on the altar because it is a Madhura Ras atmosphere, a Madhura Ras configuration, the Leela there, being worshipped there, is Madhura Ras and not one of Shakya Rasa. We do have altars where Nityananda and Mahaprabhu are there, and the rasa is completely different. So if you want to understand the rasa of that, then that is expressed by Gurudev in his Srinitay Chaitanya Dev Arti for the deities in Puri. And interesting to note on the topic of Nityananda Prabhu on the altar, is that Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, he liked to put Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu on the altars together. But then he is in the mood of Nityananda Prabhu. According to Param Gurudev, he is the Shaktivesh avatar of Nityananda Prabhu. So there is a strong connection with Nityananda Prabhu. Even in Vrindavan, what did he do? Krishna Balaram Mandir. So there's different moods and different for different devotees, and they're all compatible. Not that they're all merged together in one big rasa khichdi, that doesn't work, but nonetheless they all operate as various important service contributions in an organic, harmonious whole. So tomorrow we'll go on to Kaviraj Goswami. He mentions Advaita Acharya in 2 verses, and then text 14 is Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam, where he explains the tattva of the we say tattva of the Panchatattva. He explains the Panchatattva and who they are.
Maybe we can also finish tomorrow reading the remaining of the...
Yeah, I was thinking of doing that today, but we can do it tomorrow. Yeah, it's nice to go through the whole Dwadasakam rather than just read a few verses. Alright, Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And we'll read just one paragraph from the Devotional Treasure Chest by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sri Thakur.
One more thing before we go into that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that can we see that Lord Nityananda in the form of the Lord's paraphernalia is also in some way manifested serving in the altar, because as Ananta says, is right.
I guess in an abstract sense, yeah. But as there's no murti of Nityananda Prabhu Vigraha.
Not in that way. In a different, like as his paraphernalia, as his bed, seat, clothing, everything. It says here. Taking the form of the Lord's paraphernalia, such as umbrella, bed, seat, and clothing. It's a different manifestation of...
Well, yeah. That is the role of an Antasesh, right? That would need further exploration, I think. It could be, I don't know. Nothing comes to mind right now. Of course, I think of Mahavishnu, right? But then, if you'd ask Gurudev, he'd probably come up with an immediate answer, either yay or nay. And if it was yay, he would describe how, yes, it does exhibit and exist on the altar.
I'm not saying directly as Lord Nityananda, but as in some way as a servitor in that form of paraphernalia, because still is Ananda says is manifestation of Lord Nityananda? Or?
Yeah, it's a manifestation of Lord Nityananda. But I'm not sure if Anantashesh could be described as acting as the paraphernalia of Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna. I'm not sure how that would work.
Anyway, we can look into that.
Yeah, it may be. So I couldn't confidently say, no, it doesn't really apply, because it may. But
maybe we can find some reference to that with Shigadu Maharaj.
Yeah, because normally Anantashesh in, if you want to say, where is Anantashesh in Gaura Leela? Well, Anantashesh is an aspect of Nityananda Prabhu and Nityananda, so ultimately, or of Balaram, and Balaram is Nityananda in Chaitanya Leela. But Nityananda is not present on the altar there. So then how could we sort of say that Anantashesh is present in a subtle way? I don't know. There may be some connection.
It's also like they say that the Mridanga is also a representation of Balaram, for example.
Yeah.
In some way.
Mm.
That's what I have heard throughout the years.
Yeah. That side of the... No, this... Hang on. Is that... The bass end of the Mridanga is Gadadhar and the treble end is Nityananda. And both of them combined are seen as... Did you see that thing where they have all the different bits of the mridanga are given like almost identities.
Yeah.
And it's based on that. It's why you're supposed to play the bass end with your left hand and the treble with your right hand. Anyway. So, direct connection with Krishna we can find in the consciousness of a Vaishnav. From what plane is he regulating all his activities? To what plane is he withdrawing himself from all worldly attraction? What is that which guides him towards some direction which is unknown and unknowable? He is moving towards that direction which is not to be traced in any loss or gain of this world. And what is that thing? Naham tishtami vaikunte yoginam hridayeshu va yatra gayanti mad bhaktaha tatra tishtami narada. I am not even in Vaikuntha, not even in the heart of the yogis, but where my devotees are singing with pleasure about me, I am there. I am owned by them. Machchita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantas chamam nityam tushanti cha ramanti cha. Wherever my devotees are, singing with pleasure about me, I am there. And, he goes on to talk about a pastime in the Ramanuja Sampradaya. We'll do that tomorrow. So Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Jai Srila Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Hari Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan. Hiri Hari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Gadadhara Sri Vasari Gura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunatha. Radhikara Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Giridhara Ju Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakhak Sri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namachadra Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnav Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Vishwavaranya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat London Chapter Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Ramananda Rai. Is it Ramananda Rai?
No, it's tomorrow actually.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai.
Mañana.
You're a day ahead, huh?
Puedes preguntarle.